Hey everyone! You know that feeling of pure joy you get from a simple balloon? We see them everywhere, at parties, celebrations, you name it. But have you ever stopped to think about where they actually come from? Their journey is way more amazing than you'd think, and we're gonna break it all down.
Seriously, have you ever actually held one in your hand and just thought, how? How does this thing get made? Well, get ready, because we are about to pull back the curtain on the surprisingly precise and pretty fascinating world of balloon production.
You might think, oh, it's just stamped out in some factory, right? But it's actually this incredible mix of natural science, super precise engineering, and honestly, what really feels like a little bit of industrial magic. So let's start at the very beginning.
Okay, so our first stop, a gift from nature. Because this story doesn't begin in a noisy factory. Nope. It starts out in the wild with a very specific and very special kind of tree.
It all starts with this stuff right here, latex. It's this milky white sap that comes from rubber trees. And this natural goo, this is the secret sauce. This is what gives balloons that signature stretchiness we all know and love.
So how do they get it out of the tree? Well, it's actually a lot like tapping a maple tree for syrup. It's a totally sustainable process. They make a small, careful cut, collect the milky sap as it drips out, and the tree is left perfectly fine. It's pretty amazing, really. A true gift from nature. All right, so we've got our latex. Now it's time for the colorful factory bath. This is where we leave the forest and head into the factory, and that raw sap starts its journey to becoming something totally different.
But before the real action begins, the latex needs a little prep work. Think of it like a spa day. First, it gets cleaned up, refined, and purified. Then comes the fun part. They add all the different pigments for that rainbow of colors. And finally, they mix in some other chemicals to make sure the final balloon is strong and won't pop too easily.
Okay, now we're at the heart of the operation, the dipping process. Picture this, thousands of balloon-shaped molds all dipping down into this giant vat of colorful liquid latex. They come back up with this perfect, thin coating. Then, that layer gets heat-cured, it's basically like baking it, to make it elastic. And for thicker balloons, they just repeat the process. So cool to watch.
Next up, from mold to balloon. This is it, folks. This is the magical moment where it actually becomes a recognizable balloon.
So you've got this delicate latex skin on a mold. How do you get it off without ripping it to shreds? It's a super careful process. They use these precise jets of air or special soft rollers to gently peel the brand new balloon right off its form. It has to be perfect.
You know, one source we read described this moment perfectly. They said it's like watching a caterpillar transform into a beautiful butterfly, but in a factory. And when you think about it, that's exactly what it is. This amazing little industrial metamorphosis.
Okay, so we have a balloon, but it's not quite ready to go yet. That brings us to our next section, the finishing touches, getting it ready for the party. There are a few final super important steps. First, they roll the neck to create that little lip, which, makes it way easier to blow up and tie. Then, and this is crucial, comes quality control. Every single balloon gets checked for even the tiniest little hole or flaw. Only the perfect ones make the cut, get packaged up, and shipped out all over the world.
All right, our final section, a marvel of engineering. Because when you step back and look at this whole process, from tree to toy, you realize a balloon is so much more than what it seems.
So, the next time you see a balloon floating around, maybe you'll think about its incredible story. It started as sap from a tree, traveled to a high-tech factory, and went through this amazing, precise transformation. All of that human ingenuity just to create this one simple object of joy. And that's really the big takeaway here, isn't it? A balloon is not just a piece of rubber. It's a tiny, incredible marvel of material science and engineering. It's designed to hold a little bit of air and a whole lot of happiness.
This whole thing has me wondering what other everyday things have these secret, fascinating stories hiding behind them. I'd love to know what you think we should dive into next. Let us know. Thanks for joining me on this journey.